All right, I am finally back online. I do apologize that I had to stop that other stream. However, it was out of my control, so hopefully you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Anyways, so getting back to this flower, I have no idea what anybody was talking about in the last stream because I had to answer the door. So, yeah. I'm sure you're all just dying to figure out what what was it that was at the door that was so necessary. But it was very important. So let me just yes, Artista, nothing happened to me. I am safe and sound back again to stream. Um, so you guys must have been theorizing all kinds of craziness in the comments. I guess I should have read the chat. I posted in the chat that really was me, I promise. It wasn't some crazed sex criminal at my door. But so I may have mentioned this in a previous stream like a really long time ago, but in order for me to stay here in Poland, I have to get residency. And so once Anna and I got married, we applied for my residency here in Poland. So I'm still waiting on their decision as to whether or not I can stay here in Poland. And so the people at the door were some of the I don't know, immigration people. And of course, they came in. They had asked me a bunch of questions about Anna and I, and kind of like our plans here in Poland, and a bunch of just a bunch of questions. And on the phone, she said, "Oh, can we come in for 5 minutes?" Blah blah blah. And so that's why I decided 5 minutes. You guys can go get a snack and go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and blah 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 for 5 minutes. Of course, it went way beyond 5 minutes. Uh, so yeah, that's why I decided to just go ahead and chop the first live stream and just go ahead and start this one because I kind of wish now because so many people were on that other live stream. From what I was seeing in the chats out of the corner of my eye, that I guess it would have been best just to stick with that live stream, but whatever, it's no big deal. I'm sure if people that really, really wanted to be part of the live stream come back to this one. So, yeah, I'm back. I'm safe and sound. Everybody can breathe easy. But it's pretty exciting because the fact that they came and they, I'm visually seeing some movement in the decision making as to when I might get my residency, which is very exciting because getting my residency is kind of like the last step of being able to stay here in Poland. Now, right now, I'm beyond my 90 days that I'm allowed to stay here in Poland. So I have a special little stamp in my passport that, if I were to, get pulled over by the police driving a car I don't have, they wouldn't immediately deport me to the United States. They'd notice the stamp and be like, oh, he's applying for residency. He has some leeway as far as being able to stay here without residency. So that's what the people at the door were, and fortunately, yeah, I'm back now, and I'm gonna continue working on this flower. So it's good to see everybody back in the chat. Hello, Laura, Chrissy, Steve, Chrissy. Oh wait, I already said Renate. Yes, so it's good to have everybody back, and yeah, gonna start coloring. I shouldn't get any more phone calls interrupting. I shouldn't have any more knocks at my door. So this live stream should be good. I was gonna delete the other live stream, but I saw that so many people watched it. I figured, well, I might as well just keep it there. And this will just be part 2. That's kind of the biggest hiccup that I've had so far on my live streams. All of my live streams have surprisingly been quite successful, with the exception of one of my Patreon live streams. Yeah, I did have some technical difficulties, and that was when my camera, my other camera, decided to fry and not work anymore, and then of course I had to send that off to get fixed. So yeah, back again, safe and sound. What time is it right now? It's 2:20 p.m. So that's what time it is right now. Oh, hello, Sandy. Yeah, I'm glad you found me. So I don't even remember what I was talking about in the other stream. I know I had mentioned that my channel is coming up on 10,000 subscribers, and I want to do kind of like a giveaway thing, but I don't know what to give away. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know, because I'm happy to entertain them and consider them, because I'm not against having giving away some artwork, even some original stuff or whatever. Maybe just draw a picture. Maybe that's what I'll do after maybe when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'll find something to draw, and I'll draw that during the live stream and do a giveaway or something along those lines. I'll have to figure that out. But if you have any ideas, feel free to let me know, because I don't quite have anything just yet. We talked about the weather, so yeah, pencils, giveaway pencils. Yeah, I considered doing giving away art supplies or something like that. Because I finished recording my intro to Pastel course, and all I have to do now is edit 400 gigabytes worth of video. I was considering giving away like a set of pastels, something like that. This is specifically the same set that I use throughout the tutorial. So yeah, I was considering that. A subscriber portrait, that would be a good one too. That would be a pretty good gift, I think, for whoever wins the giveaway, I guess. I don't know what or how. I don't know how I'm going to structure the giveaway. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Silver Fox, but school is very important, so I promise the video will still be here when you get back from school. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do the giveaway, because I considered, like, if I do a live stream giveaway, but I only do the giveaway to people that are like watching the live stream, then that's unfair to all the other people that can't really catch the live stream. It's something that's outside of their control. So I don't want to limit it to that. So I think, I don't know, I have to think of something. And another thing, I don't really want to do the giveaway on a live stream video, because I know that, not everybody watches my live streams. So maybe just make a shorter video, like 10K giveaway video, and just have it like a 30 seconds long, saying what to do and how to win and what you'll win, if So I might do something like that. That way, people that care to win the giveaway, they could probably just, watch a quick video and then blah, blah, Quick question: how do I sign my pastel projects? That's a good question. I sold one of my pastel pieces, only one of them though. Um, and to be honest with you, I don't remember if I signed it. I think I was like, I was shipping out a bunch of stuff, a bunch of prints. This was like right around the time I did my first Kickstarter, and I was sending out more prints because people hadn't received their first ones, and so I don't even remember if I signed it, but I don't I don't sign my work. Like I have a stamp that I do. The stamp is, and I'm not sure if ink would work real well on top of pastels with a stamp. So really, I don't know. I need to figure that out. But on all of my work, I sign a little. I do use pen and I sign the back. Um, so I usually, yeah, I don't have like a signature that I put on front of the artwork because I don't have a nice looking signature. I don't have very an artsy signature. So I never liked the way that it looked. Are You're still waiting on the second batch? Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Um, well, hmm. I will have to. Well, how long has it been? Because actually, one of the day after I sent out the second batch of prints from the Kickstarter, um, just a day after, someone said they just came in the mail and they offered paying for the second batch. Um, wait, wait, how did you get the first ones? What? Oh, maybe it was you. Maybe it was you. That got the first ones like the day after I sent out the second batch. So yeah, like they could take forever. So I'm glad that you got them. So uh, oh yeah, yes, Steve, it's good to have you here. So glad you could make it again. Okay, yeah, it was you, Artista. So. Well, I'm sure like just the first batch, the second batch will eventually show up. It's it's kind of frustrating that it takes so long, um, because right now I have artwork. I have artwork at uh, like an original piece that I sent out. Goodness, I actually I don't even remember when I sent it out, but haven't heard back from the client to say whether or not they got that. And that was an original piece of artwork, so that's a bit more concerning than just prints that I could have printed over and over again. Um, so hopefully that shows up. Hello, Anne. Welcome back to the live stream. Now that I'm finally back online, it was a bit of a mess, but I decided like it was. So I'm sure you'll. Well, I'm not sure, but maybe you'll go back. Yeah, it was about my residency here. It was the immigration people or the border patrol or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. But they just had to ask me a few questions about me living here with my wife. Um, so it took some time. They said it was just going to take like, a few minutes or whatever on the phone, but yeah, it ended up taking a lot longer, which is why I decided to stop the other live stream. Yes, I did not get robbed. Yes, so everything is fine. All right. So after using my fancy little electric eraser here, the yellow is actually laying down much nicer, which is Very, very nice. It's not as vibrant as this yellow can be, but I think maybe after a couple layers um, and displacing more of that black that was underneath, then I think maybe it will start to look decent again. But I have a lot of extra powder here that I need to get rid of. I think I'm probably going to rework the background on this one just so that I can get it to pop out a little bit more. But my plan was for this live stream that I was going to be able to finish this piece, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to today. Um, I have a few things that I need to record for. I want to record the outro part of the video for my Intro to Pastel course. I just have one more video, very short, to record for that. And then I'd also like to write up my script for the Kickstarter launch and start to get my Kickstarter set up. Yeah. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Thanks for that, Anne. Let me give that a try. So I'll use white to kind of neutralize the black a little bit, and then I'll lay yellow over top of it and see if that helps. So much dust on this. All right, let me grab that yellow. Pretty much used like half the stick of this yellow. It doesn't, I don't think I'm going to do that with the white, because now I'm just having the same problem but the opposite direction. Now it's just more of a faded yellow. I don't think I'm going to be able to get around it, but I think the erasing technique is probably going to be the best option here to get that real vibrancy with a bit of erasing. Yeah, I've never really used my electric eraser. This is kind of the first time. Oh, thank you, Artista. I'm glad you like the website. When I do my Kickstarter, am I going to put up a video with me explaining and doing some time lapse of your work? So for the Kickstarter video, hold on a second. So for the Kickstarter video, I'm pretty much going to explain what I'm creating as far as the tutorial series itself. I'll probably show some video clips of me working and things like that to kind of give an overall idea of what I'll be doing. But for the tutorial series itself, it's all in real time. there's no time lapse in it whatsoever. I recorded all 5 projects in real time from beginning to end, and I talk through each piece from beginning to end. Everything that I'm doing, you see exactly the colors that I'm using, exactly when I'm using it. And like I mentioned, I have when I recorded the tutorial series, I had 3 cameras set up recording at all times. And what I did is, oh gosh darn it, it broke. So what I did is I had 2 stationary cameras and 1 mobile camera. I could really only manage that by myself. So I had 1 camera that was just on my pastels themselves, just looking at my pastels, so that when I go to edit the footage, I will have every time I change a color, every time, even though I'm verbally saying I'm changing the color to this color, because I didn't change the layout of my pastels. So when you first open the pack of pastels that I'm using, I have them set there the entire process. So you can have yours set there in the same exact way, and you can grab the colors based on location as opposed to like the name of the color or what the color looks like on camera, because obviously cameras, they distort what the colors look like a little bit, even with, some color correction. So that's kind of the setup. And then I used my mobile camera, the one that I was moving around, to record myself at different angles drawing, or if I wanted to address the camera, I could look into the camera and I'd have it set up showing me a bit more. And then I also use it for close-ups of the artwork itself, so that you can see exactly the way that I'm moving my fingers, whether I'm blending or whether I'm using the pastel block. You can see the way that I'm putting it on. So I captured as much detail as I possibly could, having to control all 3 cameras myself. So yeah, a lot, like I put a ton of effort into these tutorials. So that's kind of what I want to put across in the Kickstarter launch. The Intro to Pastel course is not going to be on Patreon. It won't be on Patreon. It's going to be a separate course that's different. I am still going to record tutorials on Patreon, and I'm still going to do like pastel drawings, as you can see here, on my channel. The Intro to Pastel course is really it's really for people that have never even touched a pastel before, and the subjects that I do and the way that I teach the course requires 0 drawing skills. You do not have to be able to draw whatsoever to follow along with the course. That was kind of my approach in the whole thing, is like you needed no experience whatsoever, and by the end of the course you should have 5 completed pieces if you follow along. I don't quite know how long the full course is going to be. I projected that it was going to be 4 to 5 hours long, but based on how long it took me to record the 5 pieces, I'm thinking that the course might be as long as 6 or 7 hours. So it's going to be a very thorough course. And if you saw the pictures over on Facebook or Instagram, you can see the work that I created in the course. And I swear that if anybody were to watch this course, I put so much detail and direction into every last thing that I did that anybody off the street should be able to watch this and create these 5 scenes with very little problems. So I avoided any complex technique. I avoided anything that people outside of an art like skill level would be able to follow. So I didn't use anything fancy in that regard. Yeah, so that's kind of an overview of the course, and that's what I'm hoping to share with within my Kickstarter launch. So am I going to do other courses? I really, really want to. I want to do other courses. This as much as difficult as it was and as tiring as it was to get through this course, recording it in just 3 days. I really want to do more courses. I would like to expand on top of my Pastel course eventually, and maybe do like an intermediate course to introduce you to a bit more complex scenes, and maybe introduce a few new techniques that I may or may not develop, and maybe do something along the lines of more focused subjects, similar to like this flower here. You would have to be able to draw a little bit in order to create this flower. So the intro to Pastel course requires 0 drawing skills whatsoever. You only really need to know how to trace if you want to. So for the dog scene, I supply you with a reference photo that you can trace, and you can trace it right off your monitor or your phone or your tablet or your TV screen by using the glassine paper, which I talk about in the tutorial. But beyond pastels, I would love to do a colored pencil, like an intro to colored pencil. So right now, Steve, the course is not complete. I'm finished recording it. I still have a ton of editing to do, and then the course, I'm hoping to have it out. Realistically, I'm hoping to have the course out by the beginning of June. I want to have a few weeks of a Kickstarter at least to help fund this project, because I put a lot of time and a lot of money into this course as far as supplies goes, and I'm probably going to have to buy a new hard drive. So because it takes up so much space, and obviously I don't want to just delete the videos or the original files. So there's implied cost of the course, really. And then of course I'm going to sell the original pieces. So but I'm going to sell those through Kickstarter by giving them away as rewards for backing the Kickstarter when I do launch it. So you haven't missed anything much about the course, Steve. You'll hear more about it very, very soon, but before the end of the week. Hopefully I will make the Kickstarter and it will be available to start purchasing the course by Wednesday. And so my thoughts on the course, like I've went around and I've looked at, other intro video courses, and there's that one website, Udemy, that sells all kinds of different things that you can learn, everything from photography to colored pencils. And their courses are pretty expensive, like around $50-$60. But I don't want to do that. So I'm going to sell my course for super cheap in comparison to a lot of other courses that are going to potentially be available in the future. So for the Kickstarter, this is just my thought, and this is most likely going to be how it's going to work. So on Kickstarter, I will have a tier 1 reward that will be $10. And for $10, you will get the course, the entire course for $10. And so you're going to get the reference photos, you're going to get probably 6 to 7 hours worth of the drawing course itself, and supply list and stuff like that, for just backing the Kickstarter at $10. And then I'll probably do another level where it will be $20, and you'll get the full course plus maybe a small print of one of the scenes that I created for the course. And then I might do another one where it's like $40 or $50, where you'll get the prints of all the scenes plus the course. And then I want to have a tier where you actually are you're buying one of the original drawings that I did for the course, and then of course you get the course itself. And I was thinking about doing that at $100. So there would the most you could really spend is $100 for the original pastel piece that I'll ship to you, and then when I finish editing the course, you'll get the course for that amount as well. So that's kind of how I planned on structuring the Kickstarter. And then of course what the Kickstarter hello Lisa. So what the Kickstarter is actually funding, since I already have the materials and things to record the course, and I already recorded it, what the Kickstarter is actually doing is kind of reimbursing me for a lot of the supplies that I used to create the course. And then it's also going to help pay for my website that's going to let me sell it. So I calculated it's going to be like $400 or $500 to set up my website and set up the file that because it's going to be a downloadable file. So you're going to be able to go to my website at any time and buy the course, and then you'll be able to download it, and then you'll have all the videos, and you'll just be able to watch it whenever you want. Thank you, Steve. I look forward to launching the Kickstarter very soon. So that's kind of where things are at right now. And like I said, I want to make the courses available as quickly as possible. So I can assure you, even though I'm still exhausted from last week, I'm going to get it up very, very soon. And the way that I have the course broke up is I have it broken up into projects. So I have project 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I also have an intro video that covers all of the supplies and everything that you need to complete the course. And one of the things that I did, so not only did I take the approach in this course that you did not need any drawing skills at all. You needed no drawing skills whatsoever in order to do this course and create these 5 pieces. But I also did it on a very, very small budget. So I'm, in comparison to a lot of other art courses that you can find online and buy and things like that, my course is going to be extremely cheap. The final price of my course is going to be $25, which is pretty much the cheapest course I've ever seen, and for the quality and the amount of time and stuff in the course, I think it's it's a beyond reasonable price in my opinion. So one of the other things that I wanted to approach in this course is doing these 5 pieces on a budget. So the supplies that I used, you can get all the supplies that I use in the course for well less than $100. You can probably, I would say, $60 at the most, really. So all the supplies that I use in the course won't cost you more than $60. The pastel set that I use is that 48 pack. I think it's the 48 pack. Yeah, of the Faber-Castell little mini blocks that I love using, that I've used throughout, some of my previous live streams, and that's only like, I think it's only like $25 or $30 for that pack, which is amazing because they last for quite a few pieces. And then I used the 12 pack of the Carbothello pencils, because the 12 pack of Carbothello pencils are like $20, which is just, when I saw that it was only $20, I was like, wow, that's crazy. And these pencils are fantastic. So that's it as far as like supplies, and then of course paper. So I used 2 sheets of the well, actually, I only used 1 1/4 sheet of the Clairefontaine pastel mat. So I bought the really large sheet of paper, and then I cut it up into fourths, and I did 5 projects. So do the math. So I used 1 1/4, and so so I kept the supply cost for the course also extremely reasonable for people that are interested in pastels, because I didn't want to like design a course using, I got pan pastels and I got the whole set of Carbothellos and I got this 72 pack of Faber-Castell pastel blocks. Like, I didn't want people to feel like they needed to go out and buy $200 worth of pastel supplies just to get started. So I kept the supplies very, very limited for that reason. And I think that it's going to be a good course, and I really look forward to people's response of the course as well. I will mention that I am going to be doing the time lapses here on YouTube, so you'll see as the weeks go by, once I get the Kickstarter set up, as the weeks go by, I'll release each of the time lapses from the course so that I can kind of use it as a reminder, like, hey, I got this course, kind of like an advertisement for the remainder of the Kickstarter, and even beyond the Kickstarter, really, because I'll once the Kickstarter's funded and stuff, then I'll just be selling it right off my website, which will be really nice. It will be a huge step for me. So I look forward to getting it out for everybody, because I really want to know what people's response to the course is. And I might even consider giving the course away to a very select few individuals for feedback and a review. So I might consider doing something like that in the future as well, because doing that would be nice, because I want to know what people's genuine response and opinion is of the course that I make, because obviously it will determine what I do for the next course that I make. I've had a few people ask me to do a course on colored pencils, and I would love to do that. In fact, I'd already started kind of thinking about what I would do. Like, what is it in colored pencils that I really think the beginner, like the intro level, needs to know about colored pencils if that's something that they want to start. Yes. Yeah, the Carbothellos, gosh, like, yeah, like $1 a pencil. It's crazy cheap, crazy cheap. I couldn't believe it because they're like the highest rated pastel pencil that you can get in both light fastness and quality. So it was surprising when I came across how cheap they were, because I originally went with the 12 pack of uh, Faber-Castell pencils. I went with the 12 pack of them because I assumed that the Faber-Castell was automatically going to be cheaper. And I didn't even look at the price of the 12 pack of the Carbothellos. And as it turns out, the 12 pack of Carbothello is cheaper than the 12 pack of Faber-Castell. Because when I was getting ready to, when I was still in the planning process of my course, I originally was going to do Faber-Castell blocks and then the Faber-Castell Pitt pencils. But then I realized that the Carbothellos were cheaper, and I was like, well, why wouldn't I go with the better pencils? So I went with the better pencils for a couple pounds less. Thank you, Nubian. I appreciate that sentiment. Oh, hello, Eveline. I'm glad you could make it to the live stream. So I'm not sure how many of you have. I'm not sure how many of you have used the Carbothello pencils, but I'm using the sharpener that comes with the 60 pack, and I'm constantly breaking the leads. So just letting you know that the leads are breaking quite consistently. In fact, I would say they're breaking worse than any case that I've had with Prismacolor pencils. So yeah, they're proving to be kind of a headache to sharpen. You can see what happened here with my black pencil. So I used this black pencil one time. I used it once, and this is the result of constant breakage. Eventually, you can see here I gave up and I started using a knife, and that's what I'm probably going to have to do with this yellow. Now, when the pencils are full pencil, so you can see the difference here. When I'm sharpening it and it's full, I've never had any problem with any of the colors whatsoever. I just pull out the sharpener and it works perfectly. But for some reason, as I get down here closer to the end, it doesn't want to sharpen in a regular sharpener. I don't know why. Can't imagine why that is. But yeah, they're proving to be a bit of a pain to sharpen. So you've been warned. All right, let's try to get rid of some of this dust here. I'll have to blow that off a bit more later. All right, let's add some more color because this is just getting boring as can be with this same color over and over again. I'm gonna go with this color here. All right, try to. Do I have a helical blade sharpener? No, I don't have that kind of. I don't have that kind of sharpener. Yeah, I probably should invest in a little bit better pencil sharpener. I considered getting an electric one, but they usually use batteries, and I hate dealing with batteries. I have the worst luck with electronics in general. Um, so yeah, I would prefer like the manual crank one that I used to have in elementary school. That's where I'd prefer to be with my pencil sharpening tools. But I like to rely on my X-Acto knife. That's what I've kind of been using. When I notice that the pencil keeps breaking, I just switched to my X-Acto knife. So yeah, I'll have to look into a sharpener. But you guys recommend the Derwent Superpoint cranked handle sharpener? Okay. Yeah, I would, if I'm going to get a sharpener, I prefer a manual one over an electric one because one, I don't want to plug it in. Two, I don't want to put batteries in it because I don't want to worry about batteries. I already have to worry about batteries in my phone, my mouse, my keyboard, my lavalier microphone that I haven't even been able to use yet because I can't charge it. There's too many batteries around me, so yeah, I would prefer the manual hand crank one. Yeah, a USB charged one wouldn't be too bad, but all the USB ports on my computer are already taken up. So I'm just going to ignore the muddiness of my yellow right now and just kind of go through and add my other colors. And we'll come back to the yellow and we'll see if I can maybe add a little bit of color back into these flowers because it's supposed to be kind of an orangey color, but it's not really showing up too orangey. You guys are making a bunch of really great recommendations. This is why I can't save money, because every time I'm live streaming, you guys convince me to buy more things. Knock it off. Or my wife is going to make me stop live streaming. I'm kidding, by the way. Calm down, I'm kidding. Mix the orange with the yellows. Yeah, I'm going to. This is kind of this is the less orange color. This is kind of just the base. This is the mixed color of the orange and the yellow, but as a pencil. So I'm going to bring the brighter colors in and see if I can't get this to look a little bit more vibrant, because the petals actually aren't all that yellow, but I'm using yellow kind of as the base color for brightening up the petals in general, because they're not coming through very well on top of the black, which is the issue I've been struggling with for way too long. So this is just kind of like another base layer. Not really any detail in the piece with this color here. So I'm going to bring in the more vibrant colors, because you can see here that in this part it's nice and vibrant, the reds, the yellows and stuff, the oranges, but I'm having the hardest time on this flower because I'm trying to do it right over top of the the background, which was black. So just lost a ton of vibrancy in the layers. See, these are the kind of details and things that I need to find a solution for. These kind of issues. If I were to do an intermediate course to pastels, these are the kind of problems that I would want to find solutions for, and I would share those kinds of solutions and techniques in a course like that. The paper, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't mention the paper that I'm using is the Uart 800 paper. The thing is, so I've worked for the pastel course. I only worked on the Clairefontaine pastel mat. I worked on white surface, so it was the sheets of white. Because I wanted to make it consistent. I didn't want to pick different colors and things like that. And when I switched and I started doing this on this paper here, on the Uart 800 paper, I immediately recognized the differences between the Uart paper and the Clairefontaine pastel mat. And I'll get to that in a second. Do I spray fixative? No. Nope, I never use fixative. Because I don't like what it looks like after it dries. It makes the pigments look like kind of wet and caked on. And besides, the weather is really crappy out right now, and I'd have to spray it on my balcony, and then I have to sit here for a day letting it dry properly before safely working on top of it again. So I am strongly against using fixatives on anything pastel. Besides, I love the velvety texture that I get on this with the pastels. So if you spray it, you lose that velvety texture that I just love. Okay, so getting back to the paper that I'm using. So there is an upside and there's a downside to, yes, a lot of dust is coming off. To the Uart paper, so Uart paper versus the Clairefontaine pastel mat. There's some distinct advantages to both, okay? And here's what I've picked up a little bit, okay? For the Uart paper, I feel like it gets the tooth. So I'm using 800 grit. So this is the smoothest of the Uart. I have the 600 grit. I'm not comparing it with the 600 grit. So this is just going to be a comparison of the pastel mat versus the Uart 800. Okay, none of the other Uarts. Okay, I just want to make that clear. The first thing that I immediately noticed when working on this and working on the background is that the pigment that I laid on the background, it rubs so much better than the pastel mat. So that is that you can think of that as both a positive and a negative, because I can lay down less pigment on this paper, and then I can spread it around much farther than what you'll do on the pastel mat. But the downside to that is that I could spread this orange here. If I wasn't careful, I could spread this orange like all the way over here. Whereas that's not going to happen on the pastel mat. if you lay the orange here, you know, you might get it this far, like really trying to spread it or whatever. But not on the Uart paper. On the Uart paper, everything just wants to fade away. So the pastel mat kind of has a it kind of just sticks to it. It sticks to it and it kind of stays there, and it's nice. It is nice. So that's a good quality, I think, in both papers, depending on what you're working with. I think I would say if I want to do a softer image, then I might work on the Uart paper as opposed to the Clairefontaine paper, the pastel mat. So in terms of like the soft backgrounds like this, the Uart paper might be a bit better because you can really blend out that background to make it nice and soft, whereas it's not so friendly on the pastel mat. You're probably wondering why I keep looking over here, and it's because I have it's because I have a bunch of my pastel work for my course hanging up here, so I'm looking at it because it was all on pastel mat. But yeah, so that's one thing. I think that you get a bit more sharpness on the pastel mat, so it might be good. It might be really good to use the pastel mat for like single subject paintings where, you know, you do like a portrait or you're doing like an animal, something like that. It might be a bit better choice than the Uart. But here on the Uart paper, it's a bit softer. You kind of get a softer play with the lines, and it's not as sharp, and it's kind of, you know, you're looking to order some pastels for your first try. Well, if you're getting pastels for the first time, I recommend getting the Faber-Castell. The mini blocks. You can get a good set of like 48 for, you know, $30, and you can do a ton of stuff with them. You don't really need to get pencils off. You don't really need to start with pencils. You can start with those little blocks and go a long way with them. So if you're not sure how you're gonna like them, you can start there. But you can always add a set of pencils, and if you do get the set of pencils, then I have to recommend the 12 pack of Carbothellos, and those will be about $20. So, and then of course for paper, I don't recommend going with the cheapest supplies. I recommend either going with the pastel mat or the Uart paper. But if you're just looking to kind of play around and see what pastels look like and stuff, you can go with the cheaper pastel paper. If you're not trying to complete like a real work of art or anything, you're just kind of playing around like a little sketch or something, then you can try some cheaper pastel paper. But to get the full effect of pastels, you kind of have to work on good paper. So in that regard, I still recommend not going cheap with the paper and getting the Uart or pastel mat. Alright, these are starting to fill up with color again. A little bit more vibrantly, so that's always a good sign. Like I mentioned, I wasn't trying to finish this piece on this live stream because I was going to, but then that incident with the Border Patrol or whoever they were, immigration, stopped by. So I'm most likely not going to finish this up on the live stream. Carbothello 12 pack right now is under $14. Okay, so if you don't have any Carbothellos, there's really no excuse at this point because that is ridiculous. $14 on Amazon. That's like a $1.10 for a pencil or something ridiculous like that. Like not even like $1.15 or something. 12 divided by 2. A 12th. It's like $1.09. Yes, work on good paper. Yes. Paper makes pastels fun. Starting to get some color into these petals, not too bad. All right, let's switch colors now. What color? I had a color planned. I think it was this one. No, maybe it was this one. That's one of the things I really like about pastels is that the color that you see on the pastel is actually the color that the pastel is. My wife texted me. Sometimes she tunes into my live streams while she's at work, so she probably thought something was wrong, just like everybody else. So she texted me to ask if everything was okay. Let's see. Have I got any of those unison color pastel sticks? No, and the reason is because they never have them in stock. So I just kind of gave up looking. I had them in my shopping cart on Jackson's for a month, and they never became restocked when they said they were going to be. So I just gave up. Right now I'm having plenty of fun with all the colors that I have, and so I haven't gotten any of the unison ones. I still want them, but I think I'm going to slow down a little bit with my purchase of art supplies just for the sake of my bank account and my marriage. So I'll hold off on the unison for a little while at least. I look forward to getting them in the future though. All right, let's try to add some details here. See if I can't get these petals to look a little bit nicer. Now this is kind of like a nice reddish brown color, not quite orange, but it's going to add some orangeness to the petals. Bit more detail. If we bring in some detail here, it might cover up some of this messy looking nonsense I got going on here. And I'm paying really close attention. I'm paying really close attention to how this paper is handling the detail. because that's another thing that I noticed on the Uart paper. So backtracking a little bit and getting back to what I was talking about, the difference between the Uart and the pastel mat, because in the past, in a couple videos, a few people have asked me about the pastel paper that I'm using, and I've mentioned a few times that I kind of prefer the Uart paper. And the reason that is because the subtleness, hold on a second. Okay, this time it's my wife. Everybody can calm down. It's my wife calling. Hello? Hello, cuteness. Everything is fine. I'm live streaming. In fact, I'm having this phone conversation. Oh, you must be on the other live stream. So I'll have to go through everything with you when you come home. But there's a different link now. So I am live streaming. Okie dokie. Bye bye bye. Love you too. Bye bye. Okay. Yeah, she was on the other link. So yes. What was I talking about? Yeah, so the Uart paper that I'm working on now, I noticed that it wants to pick up the teeny tiny little pencil strokes, whereas the pastel mat doesn't want to do that as good as the Uart paper. So it's kind of flip-flopped. So you would think that the pastel mat, because it really wants to hold on to those pastels, and you can't blend it as far as you can on the Uart paper, that it would want to grab onto those teeny tiny little details. But the truth is, the little details come out much cleaner and much sharper on the Uart paper. So that's one of those small reasons that I kind of have a preference for the Uart paper. So just putting that out there. You wouldn't necessarily expect it to do that, but I feel like it has a bit more control in adding those tiny little details. It's like the tooth of the paper just kind of wants to grab those little pencil strokes and hold on to the detail a bit better than the pastel mat. So you can see that line right there, and it just the pastel mat wouldn't let me do that line as clean as I just did. It would be a bit softer, a bit desaturated. It's more likely to kind of to blend with the layer below it. Does masking fluid work on sanded papers? That's a really good question. So a couple months ago, when I first got the pastels, I had 4 different kinds of pastel paper, the Uart pastel mat and a couple of the Canon stuff or whatever, and Fabriano. So those were the 4 papers that I decided to try out. And I tried masking fluid on all of them. So on the Fabriano and the Canon paper, the masking fluid did not work. The masking fluid does kind of, sort of, a little bit work on both the sanded paper, on the Uart paper, and on the pastel mat. The other thing that I tried was inking. So there was 2 tests. I had little squares. I was going to make a video about this, but I guess I just forgot. Because I bought masking fluid because I had the same exact thought. For this flower in particular, wouldn't it have been nice if I just put masking fluid on the flower and then did the background, and then peeled this off, and then I'd have, a nice clean slate for the flower here. But yeah, I just haven't really given it a second try, or I haven't really tried it on a piece like this. But this would have been a really good idea. Now, I did notice that it doesn't really want to work all that wonderful on either of these papers, on either the Uart or the Pastel mat, but it does seem usable. So I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to give it another try. Because also when you, I like to blend with my finger, so when you do that, that's kind of the same motion that you make when you're trying to peel up your masking fluid. So you tend to not have very clean edges when you use the masking fluid, but I think that it might be manageable to use. So it's definitely worth a try. In my case, a second try. Really great questions. I've been enjoying answering your guys' questions during this live stream. That's what makes these live streams so fun, is that it gives me a chance to kind of, ask whatever questions pop into your mind. Even though, sometimes I end up answering the same question more than once. I don't mind doing that. Gives me something to talk about. Gives you guys something to listen to. I always enjoy that part of that aspect of the live streams. So thank you for watching. Thank you for asking questions, and hopefully you enjoy the live stream. I kind of had this thought the other day. So I've really kind of grown to just love working with pastels, and because I did the intro to pastels, I kind of was thinking about starting a second YouTube channel that I just gear my pastel work to, because on my channel, you really can't. I don't even know what I'm doing next week, let alone know what I'm doing next week. The only constant thing is I do these live streams every Monday. Other than that, I work in acrylic paint, colored pencils, pastels, and even I don't even know what I'll do in 3 days or 4 days. I could do another live stream pastel piece or something like that. But I was thinking about creating a second channel that would just be pastels. So maybe on that channel, each week I would do, or maybe just every other week, I would do a live stream pastel drawing, and I'd kind of keep that channel for pastel work, and then I'd do something I would just still do the same thing on this channel, but instead of working with pastels, I would just work with my previously used materials. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether or not it would be beneficial, but I'm kind of, I guess what I'm thinking about, the reason that I thought about doing it that way, is because maybe one or two people, probably more than that, came over to my channel specifically for my pastel stuff, and then like a day later they see like a random video of me doing something completely irrelevant. Like they came over because of my pastel tutorial, and then the next day I upload a video of my wedding. So they might be I don't know, confused about what my channel is. Perhaps I should just make a trailer for my video, but I don't even know where to begin with that. Maybe that would help clear up some of the randomness that is my channel, because I feel like I have kind of some weeks where I just do random stuff, like my how to get better at drawing video that I did last week. Because the videos like that, even though they're rare on my channels, they've been a pretty consistent thing from the beginning, in the sense that I do like one a year, and it's a video idea that comes to me based on just random things that influence it, like a YouTube comment or questions on Facebook or something like that, and or people constantly complaining that they can't draw, whatever, could be anything. Alright, so there is some color coming to this flower, but I don't think I'm going to finish it. I think I'm probably going to jump off here and do some work related to something else other than this, because I think I've added enough layers on this piece to just bore everybody to death. I'm almost bored of it. But maybe I'll finish up this color here. So I'll just add these layers, this last layer of this color here, and then yeah, you'll see the finished piece of this later on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can check me out on Facebook, though I think many of you already do if you're watching the live stream. So if you have any last questions, go ahead and ask them, and I'll try to give you an answer before I close out this live stream here, because I'm just about finished with this color. Well, if they just took even a little more of your channel, it comes quite. Yeah, I agree. It was a fleeting idea. It wasn't like anything concrete. I haven't set up a channel, but it was something that I considered just for the sake of clarity. But I don't know if I want to add that extra workload of having to sign in and out of multiple channels, whatever. Yeah, that's also a good idea. Maybe making the second channel the more vloggy stuff, because I noticed that a lot of people do that, a lot of people kind of have their second, just like, here's my life channel. But I don't do very many vlogs. I mean, the drawing journal is my vlog. Like, this is where I tell you, about what's going on in my life and blah, 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 whatever. Maybe I should just make a second channel with my wife, and we'll do our live streams over there. But no, I think I'm just going to stick with the one. And if people can't handle the occasional non-art related video, then they can just go find another YouTuber to watch. I think I'll just keep the one channel. I don't know if I could spread myself out that much. You are looking at my playlist, and I see some continuity on my thumbnails. Yeah, that I assume you're referring to my live stream thumbnails, because I try to make my thumbnails consistent looking, I guess you could say. But I don't do a lot of the I don't do a lot with my thumbnails, to be honest with you. I kind of just I have my name off to the left so that it's, you know, looks normal, like, or it's obvious that it's my video. Yeah, that using the color for the top banner usually refers to the kind of video that it is. Like if it's a time lapse, I actually don't use a banner. And then if it's for like something like a narrated tutorial or a specific tutorial or something like that, I should probably reevaluate. My thumbnail. In fact, I was kind of thinking about it not too long ago. I was thinking about like, I think it's time for a thumbnail update to make it a bit more clear or something like that. Something along those lines, but I haven't really thought about it too much. Because, I mean, regardless if I fix my thumbnail or make it look better or whatever, my channel is still growing very, very well. And I've been just very excited with the new amount of subscribers that I've been getting. Like it's almost hard to believe how many people have started watching my channel, because on average I get like 23 or so subscribers every single day. And gosh, it's almost mind-blowing to think about that, because I can still remember the time that I like first started my channel, and I remember having less than 20 subscribers. Like I think it took me a long time just to get to 100 subscribers. So I remember celebrating 100 subscribers, and now I get 100 subscribers in just a couple days. And it's just crazy. I can't believe that my channel's at where it's at right now, like almost to 10,000. So I'm excited to reach that milestone. It's been a long journey. It's been a super long journey. I've met so many wonderful people over these like 4 years or whatever. So it's been super fun. Hello, Uart. I'm just actually about to sign off, so I'm glad you could come and say hello before I stop the live stream. Anyways, here's a look. This flower is not done by any means. It's far from being done. But at least I have some vibrancy back into the colors a little bit. Not as much as I want, but hopefully I'll be able to add a few more layers and get some of that vibrancy. But I want to thank everybody that real quick. So the super chat, yes, it is activated. I've had it activated since it existed. But yeah, nobody uses it. I don't talk about it. That's probably why nobody uses it. But maybe it will get more popular as my channel gets more popular, I guess. And then people want to say something that sticks up at the top. Super chat. So super chat lets you donate to my channel in real time. So when I do these live streams, you can use the super chat to say something that will pop up at the top of the screen, and it will stay there for a little while, or it will stay there for the whole live stream or something like that. So everybody knows that you donated to my channel, and I would know that you donated to my channel. Yeah, nobody really knows how it works. I've never used it, but some channels seem to be pretty successful, I guess. It's meant to compete with the live stream of Twitch, because on Twitch, from my understanding, you can do stuff. You can donate money to people to like make your comments show up or something like that. And people make like thousands of dollars every time they live stream, just because people donate to them to like say things or do things. Anyways, I forget what I was stopping the live stream. That's one thing that I'm doing. I was trying to thank everybody. So yes, thank you for coming to the live stream and sticking with me between bouncing back between the first and the second one. So I will see you guys next week. If I don't do another live stream this week, maybe I'll do a pastel tutorial this week, perhaps. Tomorrow over on Patreon, I am finishing up, where is it? I don't have it here. I'm finishing up a tutorial, a portrait tutorial, a color pencil portrait tutorial. So for the past couple weeks now, I've been going through each stage of a portrait in colored pencil, and I've live streamed the entire portrait. So if you go over on Patreon, you can watch all of those live streams. I talk you through how to do the eyes, how to do the skin, how to do the lips, and tomorrow I am finishing the portrait by doing the hair. So if you're not already supporting me there, then you can do that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you guys for sure next Monday. So thanks again. Take care. Peace.